What is going on, everybody? I am Rob Westerman, the third of GBP Daily, and thank you for tuning in to the Rob Westerman Show. You can find me all over social media at GBP Daily, and if you aren't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like the video, throw a couple comments in the comments section. It really helps me and goes a long way in helping the channel be seen across YouTube. It is Tuesday, August 27th. And it is cut down day, or it was cut down day. The Packers cut almost 40 players in the last few hours, and there's already a ton to talk about. So let's hop in the chat and dive in head first. Lisa, I feel bad for A.J. Dillon. Worked his tail off to get in great shape, all to miss the entire season. Yeah, Lisa, tough deal for A.J. You know, to have his season end before it even started. That's just tough to see. For those of you who don't know him, he got a neck stinger during the Broncos joint practice, and the Packers placed him on injury reserve without a designation to return. So you have to think that this is it for A.J. Dillon and the Packers. His time with the team is most likely over. There's still, a little bit of hope. It's not set in stone that he's done in Green Bay for sure, but I don't know. The writing's on the wall here with this one, and I think his time with the Pack is over. He was a second-round draft pick in 2020, and with him not playing this year, that leaves Jordan Love as the only draft pick from that draft class to currently be on the roster. So crazy to think after that 2020 draft during the COVID time, the most disappointing, at least among the fans, of Jordan Love being drafted, and he's the last one standing. So crazy to think about. So hopefully A.J. Dillon can heal up soon and find his way with another team if it's not in Green Bay. But 2 stingers within the last 9 months, and this one being his neck. You hope that it doesn't have any long-term effects on his health, and hopefully he can get back to playing football as soon as possible. Thank you, Lisa, for the question. Appreciate you. What else we got? Schmidt, Super Bowl incoming. That's right, my man. You and I are on the same wavelength. I am pumped for the season to be here. We are 10 days away. We are Jordan Love days away from Packers football next Friday. Packers, Eagles in Brazil. I'm excited. Today was exciting, though. So, Brian, why did they go with Joseph over Carlson? Well, Carlson missing that 32-yarder on Saturday definitely didn't help. I think overall with his inconsistency of missing from just about anywhere, it could be a 25-yarder, it could be a 50-yarder, understandably. It could be an extra point. You just didn't know if he was going to make it or miss it. Whereas I feel like Greg Joseph is a little more consistent on the chip shots, the extra points. And if he doesn't make it from 40 or 50 plus, then that's fine. At least they kind of know what they've got with Greg Joseph. There are going to be some moves made within the next few days. So who knows? They might find somebody who was cut from another team as far as kicker goes that they might want to bring in. But we'll have to wait and see. But as of right now, Greg Joseph is our kicker. And I'm not thrilled about it. That's for sure. I'm not super thrilled, but what do you do? What do I do? I sit in my office and chat Packers with you guys. So can't do anything about it. Winker, deep wide receiver core, loving it. Yeah, man. This wide receiver core is no joke. six deep, and I see a couple other questions in the chat. We'll get into it here in a little bit. But yeah, our wide receiver room is stacked. Haley, Christian Welch not making the roster makes me sad. I just saw another comment from Amen over on Instagram. He was shocked that Welch did not make it. Yeah, I was a little surprised by that also. Crowded linebacker room. Although I think, and I know he had a great preseason, I'm sure he'll find work with another team. The room was just too crowded, and unfortunately, he couldn't crack the roster. But I'm sure he'll find work with another team. He was fourth on the team last year in special team snaps, so I know our special teams was awful last season, but it looks like they're trying to rehaul that entire unit. So yeah, Christian Welch, the Wisconsin native out of Iola, did not make the team, unfortunately, although he had a good preseason. So I'm sure he'll find work with another team. So, Haley, thank you for the question. What else we got? Trey, what's the thought behind Michael Pratt being let go and keeping Clifford on the practice squad over him? This one, Trey, is interesting to me. I'm not exactly sure what the answer is, nor do I have an opinion because I just don't know what went on behind the scenes. The only thing that I can think of is they like that Sean Clifford really knows the Packers playbook. Maybe he's a good guy to have in the quarterback room to help Jordan prepare for games week in and week out. But this one overall was a big surprise. Clifford didn't have a good preseason. Let's just put it say it for what it is. Did not have a good preseason. But I thought they'd go with the young and talented arm in Pratt over Sean, but I was wrong. So. Yeah, Sean Clifford is expected to be back in the practice squad. Michael Pratt is walking, so he'll try to latch onto a practice squad on a different team. So Michael Pratt was pretty, was thought of pretty highly that the Packers got him in the 7th round. I'm surprised they kind of let go of him this quickly, even though with Goody constantly saying, he wants to get young quarterbacks in that room and develop them, get back to the Ted Thompson way of taking quarterbacks just about every year and seeing if, hopefully Jordan Love can and will play for a long time and maybe you develop those young guys and turn around and trade them for some assets down the road or whatnot. But yeah, Sean Clifford is expected to be back in the practice squad. Michael Pratt is walking. So thank you, Trey, for the question. What else we got? A couple questions about the running back room. Arando over on Instagram says, how do you feel about the running backs we got? And Justin also says, how is the running back room looking? Well, guys, as I'm sure you've heard by now, just a couple minutes ago, AJ is not in that room. He's on season-ending IR. And the room as it stands right now is Josh Jacobs, Emmanuel Wilson, and Marshawn Lloyd. Now, Marshawn has missed a lot of time this preseason with his hamstring injury. So good news with him making the 53-man roster. Seems to me, at least, that his hamstring is healing well, and he could be back on the field sooner than later. So if that wasn't the case, you'd think he'd probably start the year on the PUP list. But fortunately, he's on the 53-man roster, and hopefully he can get back on the field here soon. He's an exciting player, and yeah, we haven't been able to see much of him on the field, but yeah, we'll see how that rolls out here over the next week or so. But yeah, Emmanuel Wilson makes the roster. I'm pretty excited about that. He had a great preseason last year, good preseason this year. And then Josh Jacobs, of course, leading the way. So I'm pretty excited about the running back room. I'm pretty excited about the team overall, really. I mean, I'm a homer. I'm optimistic for sure, but it's one of the more exciting teams. One of the more exciting I've been about, our team for a while. That 2020 year was great. But man, back in 2011, you think of that team, you think of 2020, with Devontae and the Smith brothers and Aaron and all those guys. This year's pretty special. I love this group, and yeah, we just got it finalized down to 53. So as I said earlier, though, that will change. Some guys could make it today and then be cut tonight, tomorrow. Packers could find some guys that were cut from other teams that they think might be better than who they've got in those positions. So have to wait and see here over the next couple of days to really narrow down that final 53. It's essentially the initial 53 because it's always changing. So I don't think there's such thing as a final 53 because, yeah, it's always ever changing. So, Jack, yes. What did you say about AJ Dillon? Is he out for the year or no? He is. Yes, he is on the season-ending IR with no injury or with no designation for return. So, unfortunately, he is done. So, sad about Dillon. Hoping Lynch can get back as soon as possible. Winkler, are you? You said sad about Dillon, hoping Lynch can get back as soon as possible. Are you referencing Marshawn Lloyd, but accidentally said Lynch? If so, I respect it. I hope Marshawn Lloyd is similar to Marshawn Lynch. Yes, as I said a couple minutes ago, I think him making the 53 instead of starting out on the pup is great news for Marshawn. You'd think if his injury was more serious, he'd probably start the pup list. So good for Marshawn. Kyle might have to take that AJ Dillon jersey down. Oh, man, I know. It's tough. I'll keep it up there. Love AJ. I've talked to him on many occasions. You probably can't see the picture too well, but the picture below the jersey is him signing it for me at training camp. So I might have to rearrange it, get somebody else in the spotlight. But love me some AJ Dillon. So super, super thankful he stopped and signed that for me. So not looking like we'll see AJ back in the green and gold. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Kyle. I think his days in Green Bay are done, unfortunately. But yeah, does anybody know how AJ got hurt? From what I've seen and heard, it's from the joint practice against the Broncos, a neck stinger. Do with that what you may, and it's not good, clearly. So he is out for the year. Armin, I'm bummed that Grant Dubose didn't make it. Armin, me too, man. I was hoping they would keep 7 wide receivers, but they went with 6 instead. So Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wicks, and then the guys sort of in question. I think Bo Melton was going to make it all along, but then Bo Melton and Malik Heath round off that room. And Malik Heath and Grant Dubose were fighting for that last spot. And with another good game from Heath on Saturday, he earned the 6th and final spot. So good for him. Grant, though, will probably most likely clear waivers and end up back in the practice squad. So I don't think this is it for him. A fun battle to watch out this preseason for the wide receiver room. And, man, we've got a good 6-man crew heading into the year. So I'm excited. For Grant Dubose, so this isn't the end for him. Injuries happen every year. You hope they don't, but if they were to happen to the wide receiver room, I think he's the first guy called up. So, yeah, hopefully he can make it back in the practice squad and just keep on plugging away. Last preseason, he was hurt for most of the time and then made some good plays towards the end to get his name back up there. And this year, man, he was fighting all the way to the end and given a good fight for Malik Heath. I thought at one point that Grant Dubose was actually going to make it over Malik, but Heath was just consistent. Heath played last year in the regular season and made some plays. So combine that with another consistent preseason, and boom, that's that. So yes, Malik Heath, Grant Dubose, or Malik Heath, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Bo Melton, and Christian Watson. 6-man crew to start the year for receivers. That's a good crew. That's for sure. Oh, Jacob Leisinger, my man, my brother from another mother. Have we talked about Anthony Johnson Jr. and Kalen King yet? 10 offensive linemen and 6 defensive ends, unnecessary in my opinion. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you on the second part. As far as the first part, yeah, Anthony Johnson Jr. Did not make the initial 53. Instead, they went with Zane Anderson. So kind of a surprise there. I was thinking that they were going to keep them both, but yeah, they went with Zane Anderson instead of Anthony Johnson Jr. And I don't know. That was another shocker for me. I know Zane Anderson has been a beast on special teams, and those last couple spots at safety, especially that last one with AJJ going to kind of round that off. You got to play a ton of special teams, and I know Anthony Johnson Jr. did. I think they just probably liked Zane Anderson's special teams ability more than his, I guess. So, yeah, hopefully not the end of Anthony Johnson Jr. I liked him. I've always liked him as a player. I know he's your Iowa State guy, so I understand your frustration with him not making the squad, Jacob. But you never know. This might not be the end of AJJ. He could be back in the practice squad, and as I said earlier, with the wide receiver room, an injury here, injury there, he'd be called up and boom, back into action. So I did think Anthony had a great preseason. Had the scoop and score against the Ravens on Saturday. That was exciting. That's kind of a situation to watch too. So, Jacob, sorry that your boy didn't make it. My man Jacob's an Iowa State fan, so Anthony Johnson Jr. being from Iowa State, I can understand your frustration. So, thank you, Jacob, for hopping in. Appreciate you, my man. Hope all is well. What else we got? The chat is just firing off. Everybody's pretty riled up on this cut down day. So is Kalen King practice squad? Good question. I was surprised they didn't keep Kalen King too. I know he missed a few tackles in that first preseason game, but he bounced back pretty good, especially against the Ravens. So had a forced fumble. I think he was tied for the team lead in tackles on Saturday. So, yeah, another surprise there. I think Brian Gutekunst took us all for a little ringer here this year. I think the final 53 roster projections were a little shorter or a little, more. They weren't as accurate as years past. So, yeah, Brian Gutekunst just sitting back doing his thing. So, all right, what else we got? Jason, go Pack, go. Team is set, kind of. And I'm expecting a Super Bowl this year. I am with you, Jason. That's a good one to end it off on. Let's before we head out of here, it is time for the fact of the day. Fact of the day is brought to you by TickPick. They guarantee the lowest prices on Packers tickets, and even better, if you find tickets that are somehow cheaper than what they've got them at, TickPick will give you 110% of your money back. So if you want $20 off your next order, use the code Packers20 at checkout for $20 off. That can only be used in the app, though. So be sure to download it with the season coming up. The fact of the day is a great one. Packers cornerback Charles Woodson was named NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 2009. During that year, he had 9 picks, 3 of which he returned for touchdowns. Charles, man, one of my favorite Packers of all times. So many great memories of Packers football for me involved Charles Woodson. I remember seeing him go down to the Super Bowl. I was just absolutely gutted for him. Broken collarbone right before halftime. And the story goes is that he told one heck of a speech at halftime shortly after his injury. And thankfully, we were able to bring home the title for him. So always love me some Charles Woodson. One more time, fact of the day, Charles Woodson was named NFL Defensive Player in 2009. He had 9 picks, 3 of which he returned for touchdowns. So big shout out to TickPick for partnering up with me. I've used them. I would never promote something that I'm not 100% on board with personally. So download the app, use the code Packers20 at checkout for $20 off of your ticket order. I'd appreciate it. All right, folks, that is going to do it for me today. An exciting day. Waited until this afternoon to go live and hang out. Wanted to talk about the cuts. So that goes it for the show. That's all I'm going to be on for. Just kind of I'm cutting out. So keep your eyes open over the next couple of days. There's going to be more moves coming. More cuts, unfortunately, most likely, with some other players probably being added from other squads. So if you want to stay up to date, follow me on social media at GVP Daily on every social platform. If you are not already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'd really appreciate it. I'll be back at it again tomorrow. So I look forward to seeing you all then. And until then, I'll catch you guys later. Thank you.